Good evening, Dhamma friends. You are warmly welcome for this Saturday Sutta Studies. It is a wonderful evening to study Dhamma during the time that many people enjoy their life with family gathering. You are able to spend time for this, for something great. Discussing Dhamma has been one of the fundamental things to do to develop some skills in our understanding. So I hope you would be able to use this 1 hour period for such purposes and make the life great again. Let us pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha by paying homage to him. Let us recite Namo Tassa to do so. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends, today we are taking the topic Sammaditthi as we discuss the same topic for 2 weeks because it has a lot of informations to cover. Based on the Sammaditthi Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya section 1, we discussed Sammaditthi and its definition. Of course, we were able to discuss Sammaditthi using some terms Venerable Sariputta discussed in the discourse. In order to understand Sammaditthi, just need some extra activities such as understanding other qualities in the teachings of the Buddha in our life help us understand what Sammaditthi is. In other words, if you understand everything as it is, it's called Sammaditthi. So understanding dukkha is Sammaditthi. Being able to understand the cause of dukkha is Sammaditthi. And being able to find the way out of some suffering is also Sammaditthi. And the practicing the Noble Eightfold Path as it is also Sammaditthi. And we can say in other ways also, like understanding, craving is Sammaditthi. Understanding wholesome qualities in mind is Sammaditthi. So Sammaditthi, when it comes to definition, is understanding everything as it is. So that is the best and simple way to understand it. And if you understand the politics in the world today as it is, it could also be a Sammaditthi, but we have to use it for mental peace and happiness. Then only it becomes Sammaditthi. Otherwise, it is not Sammaditthi. Sammaditthi is the mechanism for developing wisdom. Wisdom is a final product that gives us a clear picture of everything, and how we reach there, we need to develop Sammaditthi for that. And Sammaditthi does not come as a whole if not Yoniso Manasikara is being practiced. Therefore, Yoniso Manasikara is the very mechanism of Sammaditthi. In other words, the process for Sammaditthi is called Yoniso Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara is like the flashlight, because it tells us this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. That very action of samadhi is called yoriso manasikara. Therefore, samadhi is a thing to understand with the other aspect of the dharma. And when samadhi is developed accordingly, you don't need to worry about other aspect of the noble eightfold path very much, because samadhi can arouse them to the full form. For example, when samadhi is there, samma sankappa, right intention, is coming to exist. When right intention along with samadhi arise, the person speak right words, and he does right thing, and his life is going to be righteous, and then his effort is always to uh, fill his mind with wholesome qualities by letting go of unwholesome state, unwholesome energies. Therefore, his mindfulness is going to be straight, and it is very easy for him or her to gain that perfect mental state called samadhi. Therefore, samadhi can give life other qualities on the noble path. Therefore, samadhi should not be understood by one aspect. It has many aspects to be realized, so that better for us to have another session with samadhi. Samadhi Sutta. Friends, samadhi is being explained in different ways. We didn't discuss all 16 minor aspect of samadhi sutta, since they are clear to everyone. I mean, if you read one or two, you see the mechanism. Most of them explain based on the Four Noble Truths formula. What is the Four Noble Truth formula? This is suffering. This is the rising of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the path leading to the cessation of suffering. In a simple form, it could be like this. This is the problem. This is the arising or causes of problem. And this is how we eliminate the problem. And this is the method we eliminate the problem. So this is the Four Noble Truths formula, as the Buddha said. So Venerable Sariputta used it to explain the aspect of the Sammaditi Sutta, so that I think you can all read it and get all these things into your mind. But I said last week that such points in Sammaditi Sutta, like Upadana, Tanha, Vedana, they are very critical, because these are the things people get confused. These are the things that people don't understand. Having said this, I should make the point clear that other aspect of the samadhi sutta are not easy. For example, we are consciousness, then mind and matter, nam rupa, then sankhara, then avidya. They are ignorance. They are very deep concept of Dhamma that needs some attempts to understand. But I know that you have the definition, so that you understand certain things about it. So if you look at the each aspect of samadhi, there are 16, and all of them except one or two explained based on the formula for noble truths, so that having understood at least one of the factors lead you to understand the other thing. There are 16. If you understand one, you are going to make some progress on understanding other 15 aspects, because they are interconnected. The other thing I want to highlight at the beginning of the discussion is understanding Paticca it happens because of the development of Samadhi. In other words, Samadhi is always connected to the understanding of dependent coordination. I'm sorry for using these Pali terms always, as because they are coming to my mind. They may not be that easy for those people who haven't read those words. And suttas, Patichampada means the theory that the Buddha talk about the cause and effect, right? Everything arises based on causes and effect. In other words, you see how this, you see certain things around you. All the things you use, they are things or matters. And we have, of course, mental things as well, whereas you find physical thing. They all come into exist due to some causes and conditions. So when you see first you see the conditions. In other words, first you see the results. You see yourself, you see others, you see other objects around. So they are like products. So you don't see the mechanism, how they came into exist. You don't see the main reason, basic reason, fundamental reasons, but you see the products, final ends. So when you see the results or conditions or pala in Pali language, you would be able to dig down into various aspects of those things you see, you experience, to find out how this came into exist. For example, we see a banana. Now, if we take this banana into our discussion, or how this banana came, is in the table. So it is because the farmers grow it, and where these farmers grew it, and it is in the field, and where it is, and so on. So now you are also going to see the scientific things about banana. So now you see where it came from, and how it is became a commodity, and now you have bought it, and it is on your table. Now you are going to eat it, and you know what happened to you when you eat it, and what you get, what you absorb from it. So likewise, by taking certain things into your consideration, you can go even to a very subtle things. That is called investigation. That is called seeing the fundamental causes of this and that. So that is what Paticca Samuppada teaches. When you see ignorance in your mind, you quickly get into the point to investigate the ignorance in your mind, and you see this ignorance exists or arose because of that. You suppose you are angry, or somebody else around you is angry. You quickly get into the point of investigation how this anger came to exist. So anger is because of that reason, this reason. So when that reason, this reason are not going to work anymore, the anger might go away. Likewise, you see causes and conditions directly, and that is called Paticcasamuppada. Paticcasamuppada, or dependent coordination, does not come to an understanding if not Sammaditthi is applied. So we have to have Sammaditthi, or we should apply Sammaditthi in order to understand, in order to apply Paticcasamuppada as a theory. So that Venerable Sariputta in the discourse take all the aspect of Paticcasamuppada formula in explaining Sammaditthi, what Sammaditthi is. Today I would focus now something interesting. Everyone wants to know how Panya, the very results of Sammaditthi, is developed. So everybody might like this word Panya, or wisdom, because it sounds like we have everything when we have it. So why don't we expect for it? Yes, it is the very quality that clears us everything. Suppose you go to a room in the darkness, and you don't see anything, but you somehow manage to touch the switch and switch on, and the light is now there. You have no darkness, but you have light, and you see everything. when wisdom arises in our mind, in our perception, we can see everything as it is. We have no doubts, we have no frustration, we have no suffering because everything is clear. Suffering exists in the mind, arise in the mind, and all kinds of other problems arise in the mind. When mind is illuminated with wisdom, there is no suffering, there is no frustration. So everything happens in the mind. So therefore, everyone seems very happy to hear how Panya is arises. We can see in the text that the Buddha talks about how one should develop sila, the morality, concentration, and other qualities, but hardly we see that the Buddha and Venerable monks directly talk about the condition for developing panya, developing of wisdom. But there are. Friends, if I say this in a simple way, the first four thing I can say for developing panya is Kalyanamita Sevan, association of wholesome friends, and listening to them for the purpose of listening right thing, and the reflection, wise reflection after listening to those wise, intelligent talks, and then living according to. These are the four things we all should practice and follow in order to have wisdom in our life. When you happen to associate wholesome people, they are not giving you some bad things that take you into a conclusion and the bad conclusion. They are always supporting you. They are always helping you to do good, to be away from bad, to continue your good activities until you feel it well. So that's how Kalyana Mittas or wholesome friends do. In that regard, you see that you don't have you have a lot of friends, but many of them are not wholesome friends, because a lot of friends help you do something average, normal things, but they are not encouraging you to be a very highly educated, spiritually educated person. So that it is up to you to understand who are friends and who are wholesome friends. Having Kalyanamitas in association, the best benefit you can get is to listen to something extraordinary. We listen to talks of different people about economy, about politics, about how you maintain your life in day-to-day life, which is good. But they are not taking us to a solution. They are not taking us to the end of problems. In order for us to develop our mind, we should be listening how to regulate our mind, how to keep our mind away from unwholesomeness, etc., etc. So, what Kalyanamitas or wholesome friends do is they are giving us tips of success based on wisdom. As a part of it, we have a kind of skills to think properly. When we start thinking properly, it means we really applying samadhi. I told you that yoniso manasikara is the mechanism of samadhi. Therefore, our life, begins to absorb all these Dhamma elements so that we are living according to the Dhamma, Dhammanudhamma Patipatti. But very interesting, 8 points are discussed in Panya Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. I would take this small discourse from the from Anguttara Nikaya to shine our discussion. This Panya Sutta is quite similar, going well with the Samadhi Sutta. It is uttered by the Buddha to a group of monks, and I think you will learn some sort of practices to develop wisdom, because developing wisdom is happening in numerous ways, but this is a direct discourse where the Buddha speak of some conditions for developing wisdom. The Buddha said, because there are these 8 causes and conditions that lead to the obtaining the wisdom fundamental to the spiritual life. When it has not been obtained, and to its increase, maturation, fulfillment by development after it has been obtained. So it's a long, very technical way of saying, but simply it means that these are the 8 things we need to do to develop wisdom. What is the first thing you, according to your understanding? Can you guess what it is? It is this one. A bhikkhu, since the Buddha talks about all these things in front of bhikkhus, he used the word bhikkhus, but it is related to everyone. A bhikkhu lives in dependence on the teacher or a certain fellow monks in the position of a teacher, towards whom he has set off a keen sense of moral shame and moral dread, affection and reverence. This is the first cause and condition that lead to obtaining the wisdom. So the first one is having a good teacher or a person who we could put in the teacher's position. We should have some reverence, respect, kind of very high regards in our mind about him or her. This is the first quality to develop wisdom. So in the case of monks and nuns order, we have teachers, and we have that very respectful manners for him or her, because that is the way we believe him. Of course, he or she should be able to show us, wise behaviors, and he or she should be an example of success. Then only we can accept what he says, for sure. So something, it could be your parents. For you, it could be someone you trust most in a moral, in ethical way. There could be someone who teach you who teach you something great. So having such people is required for us. Even fulfilling our mundane requirements, mundane achievements, we should have such people in our life. When we are in primary school and high school, we kept some teachers in our mind that they are the best people. Whatever they say, we accept because we have trust on them. In this regard, the Buddha is the greatest example for us as our teacher, and also those great disciples at the time of the Buddha. They are no more, but we can keep them as our moral model. And today we'll find such people in the Sangha order, in the Bhikkhuni order, in our family social life. We will have some people who can guide us even without such extended talks, conversation, lectures. They have shown us some good examples about integrity, respect, kindness, compassion. Of course, they are teaching us so many things. So in this case, of course, yes, we have a teacher. That's the first conditions to develop wisdom. Second one is, when we have such a person, we depend on him or her. We, of course, live close to him or her. So perhaps if you are living far away from him or her, you have a kind of direct connection through other medias. So you are very keen to have him connected with. Then what happened? We approach him or her time to time and inquire how this happened, how that happened. For example, you have some personal issues with family members, you have issues with your own mind, you are frustrated with something. So when we have such things in life, you go and ask how this how I'm going to get away from this. What kind of things you can tell me, and which way I apply this and get the best results. Is this working? So you can ask so many questions and get some help. So if that person you talk about as teacher is keen enough to guide you, he will guide you or she will guide you so that your venerations for him is improving and growing, and your life is getting away from problems, further issues, so that you are going to establish a kind of peaceful life. So these two qualities so far are helping helping to have that quality called wisdom, clear mind, peaceful mind, and mind with some depth of life. Then the third one is having heard that Dhamma. So now you have a teacher, you have a intelligent person, wise person. Now you approach him or her for certain things in life. Even reporting your success is a thing you do when you have such a person. Now having these two accomplished, you listen to the important thing. Right now you have a perfect confidence about him or her. Now you use him just to know more. In the third factor of developing wisdom, we talk about uh, you now have heard a lot. Time to time you go and stay with him or her just to withdraw yourselves from mundane activities. In other words, the third factor is talking about physical separation from day-to-day activities. In other words, isolation. It is required for everybody. If I explain this to you, in other words, you take leaves from your day-to-day jobs at least once a 6 months or so, and go to such a teacher, such a person, such a monastery, such a center, and stay away from those activities you do on everyday basis. Physical separation should be there, and it is then easier for you to separate mentally. First you have to separate yourself physically, and then mental isolation or withdrawal from even mental engagement could happen. So that is also required for developing wisdom. This is where we encourage people to come to temple for daily one day practice in each month on full moon day, because you stuff all kinds of household activities and engage with some sort of physical, verbal, and mental discipline to calm down your mind and bring those wonderful qualities back into application. It should be done. Many people do not have that appetite to go and stay longer, but at least one day in 1 month could be a good practice. So at home, your habit comes always. Go to the TV and watch TV. Go to the computer and write emails, read emails, and watch news for current things in the world, and doing things with family members as usual. So you don't know how fast the time goes. So you eat, you sleep, you wash clothes, and so you don't feel the time, so that you don't find happiness at all. It could be happiness for you, but it is mundane. It does not help you develop wisdom. So that withdrawal from bodily, verbal, and mental activity, normal activities help us find that right tune of wisdom. This is why people need to go and stay in the forest, stay in isolation, so that your human mind is going to flourish. That is the third one, to develop wisdom. Then the fourth conditions to be practiced to develop wisdom is about, um, is about the focus on moral principles. For monks, there is Patimokka. That very word Patimokka for monks is disciplinary rules. There's one book in Vinaya section called Padimokka. In that we have all the rules that a monk should follow. And Bhikkhuni Padimokka is for Bhikkhunis and it has their own rules. So when you are following this Padimokka, you become a successful monk and you are going towards peace and happiness until you see the Nibbana. So time to time, monks should be able to stick into Patimokka. They should be able to read it well, understand it well, remember it well, and apply the rules and regulation in action so that your mind doesn't go to, craving, doesn't go to any sort of causes of suffering because your mind is disciplined with the rules. When it comes to you as lay people, you also have moral conditions to be applied. For example, 5 precepts, 8 precepts. In other words, being able to restrain your senses are some key aspect of this fourth factor, being virtuous. Being able to be restrained on senses and other aspect is giving you that rope of wisdom to hang on to. Then the fourth one is about learning dharma. It is said like this: he or she has learned much, remembers what he has learned, and accumulates what he has learned. Those teachings that are good in the beginning, good in the middle, good in the end, with the right meaning and phrasing, with proclaimed by the perfect, complete, and pure spiritual life. Such teaching as this has learned much of, retained in mind, recited verbally, mentally investigated, and penetrated well by view. This is the fifth condition and cause for developing wisdom. Friends, the fifth quality or condition talks about reading, listening, and writing important things for your mental peace. When you read, you have to remember. You have to take them back to your mind for reflection, and perhaps you would be able to recite it. We always find the happiness of reciting certain things. For example, songs you like most. Not only you listen to them, you enjoy them very much even by, saying these words with music or without music, following the, format. That's how you enjoy the song. That's how you enjoy the conversation you remember. When you are in the university, when you are in high school, you not only read books, you of course remember those particular important phrases. You memorize them. Likewise, you listen to listen to the Dhamma, read the Dhamma, write the Dhamma, and you have to remember them. You have to reflect them and find happiness and use them for alleviating certain problems. That's how you allow yourself to have wisdom straight and accurate. That's the fifth one. Now we go to the sixth quality. He has aroused energy. This sixth quality is talking about right effort. We have our effort for various things. As a 15 years old boy and girl, your effort would be at that time to, study well and pass the exam and fulfill your dreams in your life. So you worked for that without any problem. You had that courage, enthusiasm, and perseverance to work on different things to reach to your goal. Today, you are happy because you did that. Likewise, we have to have that perseverance and right effort to develop wisdom. Therefore, right effort is been one of the important qualities in the entire teaching. This, therefore, it has been in 37 factors of enlightenment, emphasized few times in few sets. Here is the Buddha says he has aroused energy for abandoning unwholesome qualities and acquiring wholesome qualities. He is strong, firm in exertion, not causing off the duty of cultivating wholesome qualities. This is the sixth condition that lead to obtaining wisdom. So our effort always should be to overcome unwholesome, bad, negative state of mind. It could also be stopping external negative things as well. For example, if you find out that there are some riots going on in your area, better you get away from it before it escalates. If you may hear the news that a storm, terrible storm is coming in your area, that could damage to houses and infrastructure, better you go somewhere and stay because you see the danger. Likewise, if you see some sort of unwholesomeness going on around you with your friends, with your family, in places where you go, better you not to go and better you not to associate them because you see the danger of certain bad things happen to you. Your mind could be polluted by the anger that other people show at you. Your mind would be in a desperate situation when you see the suffering other people experience. So better you overcome even external things that cause you negative thing. So the right effort is spreaded into that as well. In those days, the monks were in the forest monasteries. It doesn't mean that they are in deep forest always. They lived near the in the areas were close to the villages because they needed to go to the village for food. When they were selecting places to stay, they should be avoiding places where animals gather for water, food, and something like that. Buddha advised them to be away from elephant pass points and places where tigers, lions mostly gather because they are huge animal and they could damage you. And the purpose you go to the forest would be in vain. So that there are such instruction given in today, we should be able to avoid such things as well in order for us to develop wisdom. Because developing wisdom needs some time and it needs some effort. The place we stay for longer is also required, so that we have to consider all these things. So the right effort should be there to welcome all some things in our mind. In other words, we should be able to create or find wholesome state of mind in our mind, and then we have to nurse them, we have to nurture them. It's like putting new seed on the nursery which you created recently, and allowing the seed to get start to grow with sunlight and enough air and fertilizer, water. So at the end you get flowers, you get vegetables and fruits and whatever you plant. Likewise, wisdom could be a seed in your mind, and you have to allow it to come out. You have to take care of it and you have to nurture it. So that is what we need to do in the effort. So we always effort to do that. And in other words, in addition to that, we should be away from bad association. It comes in that section as well. So your effort should be recognizing negative things in people, and if they are above the margin, you should be physically away from them, expecting your well-being and also allowing them to get away from any negative things. So this is the 6 conditions for developing wisdom, samadhi. And when we come to the 7, um, it's about getting away from useless, pointless speeches. Wisdom is never developed when you engage with, useless talks, because our speech is a result of our thinking. First we think and then we say something. So if when we say that you are talking non-stop nonsense, it means your mind produces nonsense always. Nonsense always deal with greed, hatred, and ignorance in our mind. So that first, first thing we have to consider here, that I am away from negative conversation, negative speeches, any words that never help me find peace and happiness. They should be avoided. That's what we talk here. In the traditional tech, you see 32 type of talks. Talks about this and that, talk about this. They never help. For a nun, talking about the administration in the country, talking about the agriculture, market value, and wars, and music, dancing, and different people, they are not helping for them to develop wisdom. So it's a kind of ban for them to talk all these unnecessary things. They can, but if they do so, the certain dharma could not be developed. For example, samadhi, concentration, one pointedness of mind could not be achieved by anybody if they are in conversation always. If they talk about dharma, if they talk about something important about the dharma related to their mental development, it's fine. When you go to teachers, when you go to wholesome friends, you can talk about, you can have conversation, but they all should be helpful for your mental peace and happiness. In this regard, think about you. How many things we talk about in day-to-day life, and are they all helpful for mental peace? No. Even at the temple, we don't find peace and happiness at all, because certain things we have to discuss are not supporting us. Sometimes people come and talk about various things, politics in our own country, politics in world conditions, and sometimes people like to talk about various other things. They are not helping us. They are, of course, we never say that stop talking because they are not helping us, because these are the ways that they make us. They make friendship with us. We don't put barriers for them, but we we should be able to tell them at some point that they are not the things we need to discuss next time, or always, because they are all about others. Why don't we talk about ourselves? Why don't we talk about our own business that help us peace and happiness, right? So even we have that problem sometime, but I can imagine that how difficult it is for you, because the world is going like that. My invitation for you is to understand this fact very much and try to avoid. Sometimes I listen to people when they talk nonsense, but I do not show them that I know it, and from my mind I have learned how to navigate myself to peace and happiness. How? The Buddha said in many discourses that what you hear, just consider only hearing, right? What you hear, they may be talking about very important world current conditions, but if you have developed that skill, you have to be thinking that they are only words, they are only concept that start and ends. So you see the impermanence of words. They are only sounds, but never tell them that you are thinking in that way, because they might be fed up with you. It's not helping them. So anyway, we should be able to learn those tactics to control your emotion in mind when you hear certain things like that. That way you can keep the Dhamma alive and make yourself peaceful then and there, so that you do not caught up with, you do not, get all these negative things into your mind. So basically, this 7 conditions to develop wisdom is talking about getting away from useless conversation. Now we come to the last one. Remember, we are talking about what conditions we need to do to develop samadhi and wisdom. We have already discussed 7. I will tell them again in short. We are in this 8th one. It is dealing with the 5 aggregates of clinging and investigation onto them. This is very deep, but it is possible for someone who has understood some sort of other conditions. In other words, if you have followed moral principles, and if you respect your teachers and listen to write them on right time, and you have a kind of effort to let go of unwholesome things over and over. So you have been working on something before, something those conditions we discussed before. Now you are able to get this 8 point, which is very important. This is the uh, this is the important factor here to break all these chains of craving from your mind. 5 aggregates of clinging, you observe them in your mind, and the clinging part is avoided by you with right thinking. So what are the 5 aggregates anyway? Form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness of vijnana. In Pali, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. These are the 5 aggregates, and they are in our mind. Of course, when we say that our mind and our thoughts, they are nothing but these 5 aggregates. In other words, each and every single thoughts represent these 5 things. If I say this in a different way, Rupa, form, feeling, Vedana, perception, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, and Sankara, mental formation, Sankara, and consciousness, Vijnana, they are nothing but thoughts. They are nothing but minds. All the mental things represent these 5. So, craving or attachment or likeness or dislikeness for these 5 things is called upadana, clinging, grasping, and this is the very cause of suffering. This is the very reason for physical and mental suffering. So now your effort should be, in order to develop samadhi. Of course, samadhi and panya is about dealing with the clinging or grasping part for 5 aggregates of clinging. It is one of the highest practices. It is called vipassana, because you are trying to do something extraordinary in your mind to remove the causes of suffering that is happening in the higher level of your training. I know that you can do it at any point of your meditation, but success is coming when only you apply the previous points to be develop wisdom, so that you would be in a easy positions to reach to the investigation of the 5 aggregates and also clinging to the 5 aggregates. So friends, these are the 8 conditions or steps that we need to practice in order to have perfect samadhi. So if you turn into Samadhi Sutta, Venerable Sariputta has not given the possible practices that you should do for developing wisdom, because he assumed that monks know and Buddha might have delivered these kind of discourses over and over. And overall, when the Buddha said, okay, monks, come and don't do this, don't do only these things. If you do this, this is what happened to you. You are not going to make any progress. If you do these things, you will be in this mental state soon, and later you will be in nirvana, something like that. Buddha always tell. That is the informal way of telling all these 8 conditions. The formal way is that, okay, this is the first quality you need to do to develop wisdom. This is the second quality. This is the third quality. That's the formal way. Informally, uh, in a different way, Buddha has uttered this kind of steps always to develop Sammaditthi, Yoniso Manasikara, and wisdom Panya, because it is one of the central instructions by the Buddha. So therefore, friends, try your best to understand the significance of it. No matter who you are, you could be a layperson, you could be a monk, you could be a man, or you could be a woman. It's fine. Your status doesn't make any sense. Only thing you need to do is to try out, to apply certain principles the Buddha explained here in this 8 steps, and you will read the result. You will experience the result very soon, because they are giving you results immediately. So panya, again, what is panya? Again, what is sammaditi? When you have sammaditi, when you have yoniso manasikara, this method in your mind, panya arises means you don't see any problem in your mind. Your mind is clear. You know what exactly you want to say, because when panya arises and exists in your mind, you feel what you are going to say. You, before you say it, you feel your feelings uh, in an automatic way. And when you hear, when you listen to people, you have a kind of ability in your mind to decide that they are good, and this is good, this is bad. Something like that happen in your mind always when you have wisdom. So now you see that that type of perception, that type of intelligence does not come to our mind without mindfulness, without calmness, without such a clear mind. It is like you see the pond, and if the water is undisturbed, you can see the depth of the pond with all these details. But if the water is mudded, is mixed with various leaves and things like that, various water plants, you don't see anything in the water. So this is a kind of simile to understand the point. If your mind is disturbed by suffering, causes of suffering, various other things related to suffering, you don't see the deep mind, you don't see that purity of mind, you don't have that purity of mind. Your mind is always gloomy, dark, so that you don't enjoy your life. But if you apply these steps and clear your mind, and now you have light, you have simplicity, you have kindness, compassion, clarity, so that everything is visible for you. You don't find happiness outside, but you find happiness within. You enjoy your whole life, and even if your body is broken down, even if you feel pain in your body, you accept it well, because your mind is clear. So friends, that is the magic of developing this practice. And samadhi, therefore, is rose in 100%. When samadhi, as I said earlier, when samadhi is developed 100%, you expect either sotapanna state, or sakadagami state, or anagami state, or the final emancipation called arahantship. You cannot reject it, because your mind is clear. When mind is clear, it's like very bright, and no stain, no dust, no any unwholesomeness could stay with that. It's like the lotus leaf. Lotus leaf is shiny, cannot hold anything on it. It slip away. Anything fall down to the lotus leaf, slip away quickly. Likewise, your mind don't hang on to anything, because wisdom has arisen just like a beautiful things in life. So that is called samadhi too. When samadhi is developed, you can expect such wonderful things in your life. So it's almost 9. I'm so sorry for talking nonstop. My intention was to cover the sutta with 8 factors, and hence Samadhiti Sutta is also been covered with a different aspect. So if you have any concern and questions, now we go for that. If you have anything to add, please take your time. Do you have anything?
No, it was very good.
All right. Any friends who join with us? Do you want to say something? No, nothing. All right. That is because of samadhi you have. Because if you have samadhi, you understand things better. Of course, then I said, I have my way of explaining samadhi. Sometimes you have better knowledge and you have all these things done already, so that you are clear with what the sutta says. There is no necessity to have questions all in each session. Anyway, let's this dhamma is working individually. It doesn't work as a group. There are certain things that we can do as a group, but it works as an individual, because karma is working for you in an individual basis. So that be diligent, mindful, ardent, and resolute, heedful, mindful, and wise. When you have all these things, you are perfect in Dhamma, and you are not ending this life without gaining anything in the sasana. You must be a very successful a spiritual individual, so that practice samadhi often, always, in each mental, physical, and verbal activity if you can. Having said that, I'm going to end today's Sutta Studies. Thank you very much for coming. Among many other things, you selected this because you think that this is the best thing to go with, at least for 1 hour. The merits out of this thinking and participation and active participation should be with you, with your loved ones, friends, relatives, children, grandchildren, and whoever you want to share. May they be well like you. And those who are sick and stays in hospital and different places, as you know, may they receive these merits for their speedy recovery from illnesses. And finally, may we all be able to get away from all mass of suffering with the development of wisdom and samadhi, and may we all stay in nirvana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.